everybody, welcome back to my channel. Now it's been quite a while since I've done a video for you guys, and as per usual, the reason for that is just my life has gotten a bit complicated, / I've been busy doing other things, and I just haven't really had time to fully conceptualize a video for you. So I've taken some time today to make a video that I hope is going to be really useful for some of you guys, because I know that I personally struggled with this topic when I first started out working in archaeology. What we're going to be talking about today is once again related to the concept of going on what is known as an away job. So where you're staying away from home from Monday to Friday and coming back on weekends. And specifically today, I'm going to give you some tips on what you should be packing for that. When I went on my very first away job, nobody gave me any kind of guidance of kind of the size of luggage I was allowed, you know, tips on what I should be bringing, and I definitely underpacked and kind of quote unquote suffered for that first week, and I would like to pass on the things that I've learned to you guys so you don't have to have the same experience. So as you can see, I've kind of got here on this bed behind me kind of the 3 pieces of luggage that I will take with me if I'm going onto an away job in the field. This consists of my backpack, my suitcase, and then also my kind of grocery bag that's full of all my field stuff that gets kind of dirty. Now, some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about first off are things that you can take with you like all the time on any kind of away job that you are on. And then I'm going to have a little section at the end that's going to be about stuff that you should specifically be taking with you when you're doing a self-catering job, because it is a little bit different, and the places that you can stay in can be a lot more variable. So you kind of need to sometimes pack for that, rather than just packing stuff that you would kind of typically expect to take with you when you're just going away. Now, when you first get the call to go on an away job for work, you're going to want to try and ask the person on the other end for as much information as possible about where you're going to be staying. So if they can give you the place of where you're staying, whether or not the job is self-catering or if it's catered, and kind of how much room you'll have to put your stuff away in the van. This is because sometimes it can be quite tight, because a lot of the time the company vehicle that you'll be driven into wherever you're going will also be responsible for transporting tools to the site that you're going to. So you might be really limited sometimes for the amount of stuff that you can bring. I know sometimes people can be tempted to pack everything but the kitchen sink, but unfortunately you generally can't tend to do this when you're going on an away job in archaeology. So when I'm on an away job, I tend to pack my clothes and everything into just a small carry-on suitcase. And I don't usually have too many problems doing this because, again, I don't tend to pack tons and tons of clothes. This is because a lot of the time in archaeology you do tend to kind of recycle clothes throughout the week. Not necessarily your base layers like your underwear and your shirts and stuff like that, but your work trousers you will tend to use pretty much throughout the entire week. I would always recommend bringing a spare pair of those in case you have a rip. But I don't tend to bring tons and tons of clothes with me on these away jobs, mostly because as well, I'm not there to impress anybody in the evenings, so I'm not really trying to dress very nice or even dress differently every night. Typically, I will take a pair of jeans with me, all the socks and underwear that I need, and bras, so on and so forth. I'll bring probably about 2 like regular daytime shirts to wear in the evenings, because again, if you consider it, when you get home from work, by the time that you've showered and kind of gotten ready, if you're going out in the evening, you're only spending like 3 or 4 hours in those shirts before you go to bed. So you don't necessarily need to bring 4 tops along for every single evening that you're going to be going out. I'll bring with me like a single warm sweater, a work shirt for every single different day, because again, if you're getting sweaty, it gets a bit gross. You don't want to wear something that's smelly every single day. I'll bring different pairs of work socks, all that kind of stuff. So underwear and socks are usually the things that I tend to bring most of, because those are the things that you really should be changing every day. Yeah, you don't want to forget to bring your pajamas so you have something that you can sleep in at night. I also tend, when I'm doing these jobs, that on the Monday when I'm leaving, I'll wear like, you know, a work outfit on my way to work rather than wearing regular clothes and changing when I get to site. So I'll have my work trousers on, I'll have a work shirt. I might have my sweater on with me, but I'll also have a jacket. One thing that I definitely didn't get told when I first started out was to bring your regular shoes and jacket. So on my very first job, I brought a kind of regular winter jacket with me, and I wore my work boots to work in the morning. Don't do that. Don't forget to bring an extra spare pair of shoes and an extra spare jacket. This is because if you end up wearing only one jacket to work and it's cold out, you're wearing that jacket all day while you're digging, and it is going to get dirty. This goes the same for the boots that you're wearing. Additionally, and to them being dirty, they might also get wet. So if at the end of the day, you don't really want to be wearing, you know, wet boots or a wet jacket that's dirty, and you want to be nice and comfortable and dry and warm, you want to have that extra stuff as the option to change into. Additionally, if you're going to be going anywhere at night, you don't want to be wearing your muddy boots from work and tracking it all over the grocery store or the restaurant that you're going to be in that evening, because, you know, people will give you some pretty nasty looks. In terms of how I make everything fit into my nice tiny little suitcase, I use a compression sack for most of my clothes. So this is a nice, pretty large kind of duffel looking thing. I put all of my clothes in it, and then I close the top, put this over it, and then you can use these little toggles at the sides, and it just compresses all the air out of your clothes and just gets them down to like kind of the smallest amount possible for you to be able to fit into here. And I can generally get all of my clothes fit into this, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 pairs of trousers. The next thing that you're going to want to make sure that you're bringing with yourself is toiletries. So when I first started out, I bought myself this nice little kind of toiletries bag that I can like hang up onto things, and generally is able to fit all of the stuff that I need to be taking away with me overnight. So that, you know, I don't have things leaking all over the place, and I kind of have all my toiletries in one spot for myself. In terms of the actual toiletries that you should bring, obviously if you're staying at a hotel, this might be a bit different, but again, you don't know exactly what the facilities are going to be like where you're staying. So I always kind of err on the side of caution and bring a little bit more than I actually need in case it's not available for me. In terms of stuff that you kind of need every day, you're going to want to make sure that you're bringing soap with you, if you need any kind of washcloth when you're showering, face cleanser, moisturizer, all that kind of stuff. In regards to shampoo and conditioner, personally, I don't wash my hair every day because it's really long and it's a bit of a ball ache to do. I also don't need to wash it every day. So I only kind of wash it maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and if I'm gone from Monday to Friday, you know, I'll tend to wash my hair the night before I go to work, and then I only really need to wash it maybe once while I'm away at work. Unless, of course, I get absolutely doused with mud, which hasn't happened yet, knock on wood. This also means that I don't have to bring like a full-size shampoo and conditioner with me when I'm away at work. So I actually just have these 2 little bottles that I've labeled shampoo, conditioner, and I fill it with my shampoo and conditioner that I have at home, and these will be able to last me through, you know, if needed, at least 2 or 3 washes. You're also going to want to make sure that you're bringing in your toothpaste, toothbrush, all that kind of stuff, things that you need at night all the time. I wear glasses, so during the day I wear contacts, so I have to bring all that stuff with me. You want to bring your deodorant. I've actually, don't forget to bring a hairbrush with you. I've actually forgotten to bring this quite a few times with me, and I tend to just maybe only have a comb, or, you know, you don't want to have to borrow somebody else's hairbrush. So definitely make sure you're always bringing in a hairbrush and anything that you might need, especially if you have longer hair. Now, one of the things that I think people don't necessarily think about when they're packing for away jobs sometimes is who they're going to be, you know, maybe staying with, and where exactly in town they're going to be staying. So something that I would also highly, highly recommend bringing with you working on a away job is earplugs, just to help you sleep at night. When I lived in Lincoln, I was on kind of a street that had a lot of students living there. I was living in what I would consider to be student accommodation. And, you know, any night of the week, even if it wasn't like Freshers Week or something like that, they could be quite loud. And if I hadn't had earplugs, I would have had a really difficult time of it getting to sleep every night, and I would have been a much grumpier person to be around. The next thing you're going to want to be thinking about is how are you going to entertain yourself in the evening when you get home from work. Even if you're going on a catered job where everyone goes out to dinner at night, that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't end up with a spare hour or two twiddling your thumbs before you go to bed. And once again, your entertainment facilities wherever you're staying are not something that's always going to be something you can necessarily count on, especially when it comes to the Wi-Fi. I've stayed in places where there's been no Wi-Fi available, and I've stayed in places where it was available, but it was a bit crap. I would not necessarily advise always bringing your laptop with you unless, of course, there's something that you need to use it for, because it can just be quite heavy and can take up a lot of space in your luggage. But again, you might not just want to only have your phone, because you might want to watch something or play a game, or just have a slightly bigger screen. So in this respect, I always bring my tablet with me when I go on an away job. I've had it for a couple of years, it still works fine. If I can, I will download a TV show onto it so that I actually have something ready to watch in case I don't have good TV or Wi-Fi around. I can access Facebook and Twitter, all these kinds of things. I can play games on it. It just makes it a little bit easier to keep myself entertained in the evening. I also am a really, really big reader, and for a long time in my life I struggled when I went on vacations and stuff because the books that I read tend to be about this big. They can be quite heavy. In this respect, I also usually have my Kindle with me. Now my screen's broken on this one and I'm in the midst of getting it replaced, but I've had it for like 5 years and I just can't bear to throw it out quite yet. But having my Kindle with me when I'm on an away job is such a lifesaver as well. Sometimes if you're out at work and say the machines aren't ready for you and you're just stuck in the car waiting for them to be ready, having a book with you, always a good way to keep yourself entertained, especially if you don't have good phone signal and you can't use your phone. Another thing I would recommend bringing with you, especially if you're going to be doing lots of long car journeys, is some kind of travel pillow. This one kind of unzips into being a blanket as well, so sometimes I have used it as an extra blanket. But I just find I fall asleep in cars really, really easily when I'm a passenger. And it's just useful sometimes if I'm having like a 3-hour drive at the end of the day and I've just been working, or if I've had to get up really early to get to site for work. Having the pillow just helps, makes my life a little bit more comfortable. Also, if you're staying in a place where you have a limited amount of pillows and you like to have more pillows, just a little bit easier for you. Now that we've covered kind of all the extra stuff that you're going to need when you're not exactly at work, we're going to talk about the stuff that you need for when you're at work. I tend to use a big kind of generic grocery bag for this, or other people use like the big IKEA bags, as they just get dirty and the things that you put in them are dirty and you don't want to spend a lot of money on something that's probably going to rip, get destroyed, stomped on, all these things anyway. Within this, a lot of the stuff that I've talked about before, this is where I keep it. So I've got my toolbox, I've got my waterproof jacket and trousers in here. I'll have my water bottle. I've got extra tools that don't necessarily fit in my regular toolbox. This is also the extra bag that I will have my work boots in, ready for work, because again, these get really, really muddy. So you don't necessarily want them to be mixing too much with everything else. And then I'll also have just like generic spare stuff, like my trowels and stuff like that all goes in here. My hard hat would also go in here if I had one on me at home. Obviously the size of these bags can vary. Like I said, people use the giant IKEA blue bags for this quite a bit of the time, but the more space you have, the more stuff you'll find to fill it. So I try to keep mine pretty much as simple as possible with everything that I just kind of need and not all the stuff that I might need. The last thing I would recommend having with you is a backpack. So this isn't full or anything. This is actually quite nice. I don't tend to take this backpack with me to site because they do just tend to get ruined. This is just functioning for me generally as my purse, pretty much. So I'll have my lunch in it for the day. I'll have my Kindle in it usually if I'm out in the field, so that I can read a book if I'm stopped for some reason, or on break, or on the way home from work or something like that. I have my wallet in there. So that's pretty much everything that you're going to need to take with you on any away job that you do in archaeology. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about specific stuff that I would recommend you take with you when you're doing a self-catering job. Just to reiterate, self-catering means that you will be provided with some kind of cooking facilities so that at night you can make your dinner yourself and your lunch the next day. Whereas with a catering job, all your meals in theory are kind of provided. Now, as I said before, generally on both kinds of jobs, you will receive some kind of subsistence to help pay for this, which can be really helpful for you. Catering jobs tend to be pretty standard in terms of you're either staying in a B&B in our hotel and you kind of know what to expect. Because most people have stayed at a B&B or a hotel in their lives. Whereas a self-catering job can be much more of a mixed bag. Some places provide you with everything, and some places just have the bare bones of what you need. So when I'm doing a self-catering job, what I pack, I tend to have a couple different extra things that I wouldn't normally bring with me. The first one of these things is a towel. So I have actually worked on a job before where it was self-catering, it was a holiday cottage, and nobody told us before we went there that they didn't have any towels. So we had to actually borrow them from the people that were running kind of like the holiday park that they were managing it. They lent us a bunch of towels, but from then on I've learned my lesson, and if I'm doing a self-catering job I always bring a towel with me. And also I'm just kind of one of those people where I tend to use bath sheets when I am showering rather than an actual towel. I just find bath towels themselves to be quite small, so I do like to kind of have the bigger bath sheet option. In this case I will also bring with me some kind of hair turban wrap thing to just wrap my hair in when I've gotten out of the shower, because yeah, it's just easier that way. The other thing is kind of some kitchen supplies, some generic kitchen supplies. I've only kind of started doing this recently, but it can be really irritating if you're going on an away job and say the house and the kitchen itself is not very well kitted out, and then you find you're always having to buy staples when you're at the grocery store. So I now have the habit of kind of bringing that with me. In this respect, I also tend to meal plan in ahead of doing a self-catering job. So I have one particular meal that I'll just make a really big batch of on the Monday night, and then that will serve me for leftovers on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I generally tend to have some kind of frozen pizza. But this, provides me with fuel. I only really have to do one big night of cooking, and it doesn't tend to require me to have a lot of ingredients. If you can meal plan in advance, then you can maybe pack some of the staple stuff that you're going to need with you that otherwise you'd have to buy in like big batches if you went out to the grocery store. So this is just an example of kind of the common things that I will end up bringing with me on an away job. I've got a knife, just a general kitchen knife that's sharp for cutting vegetables. This I bring with me because I actually have stayed somewhere where the knives were so dull that it made it a real effort to chop my vegetables at night. I also will bring like a little spatula. I have these mini kind of silicone spatula set that I just bought with me, and this has turned out to be really useful because again, you don't always know what kind of things they have for stirring, and I've just had this come in handy with me. I have this little kind of generic salt and pepper shaker. If you're not prepared for this and you have a meal that's going to require salt or pepper, you'll generally have to end up buying the big boxes of the stuff in the grocery store, and it can also be expensive. You don't want to be spending 2 or 3 pounds on salt and pepper every week when you're on an away job. I have this kind of spray extra virgin olive oil for, as a substitute for butter or olive oil when I need for cooking. I just use this because it's just, it's easy to transport. I don't have to worry so much about it maybe bursting open in my luggage and spilling over everything. And lastly, I don't generally take this, but this is just kind of an example of some of the stuff that you can pack. If you're making something that requires stock, again, stock cubes can be expensive to buy a pack of in the grocery store. So if you have a bunch at home, you can just pack a couple of these depending on what you're going to make. As well, garlic or onions would be another good thing. And that's kind of like a really basic kit of cooking stuff that I tend to bring with me. That's just small and easy to fit, but avoids you having to spend that extra couple of pounds in the grocery store to buy something that you already have at home, which can be really annoying, especially if you're cheap like me. So that's pretty much everything that I pack and bring with me. I'm just going to quickly show you guys everything now being packed away into my suitcase just to show you how I fit everything in together. Alright, so that's me pretty much ready to go away to work. It's something that's taken me a couple years to perfect, so to speak, and I still forget stuff. As per usual, I hope this was helpful for you guys and giving you a better idea of the things that you're going to need when you go on an away job working in archaeology, or maybe just an away job in general. I've had a lot of stuff going on lately, so I'm not going to be posting as regularly as I would like to, but I still do have videos for you guys. I have a new job. I've left working down south and I'm finally going to be working based out of an office in Edinburgh, which is really exciting for me. It's something that a goal that I've had for myself for this year that I've been able to achieve, so yes. And hopefully with this new job I'll actually be able to do some videos for you that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, but haven't exactly had the resources to do so. So watch this space and hopefully I'll be able to come up with some really exciting stuff for you guys in the next couple months. Per usual, I've got my social media down below. If you want to follow me on there and see what I'm up to on a more regular basis, feel free. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions for me, please comment down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Please subscribe and come and check out any of my other videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!